What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome to episode 4. This is the Crazy LIV Week because, unfortunately, to a lot of people's opinions, LIV kind of outshined the PGA Tour and also the LPGA Tour this past weekend. Didn't even know there was an event going on until I woke up the one morning and saw some TikToks from the event. So we're gonna delve in deep and recap the Zurich as well as the Chevron. Talk about that LIV Golf event. The Mexican Opens this week. It's kind of an off week on the PGA Tour, but we're going to still kind of give a little insight on our picks for that tournament because there's a lot of names that are in the field that are not as well known, as well as some of your big names like John Rahm. And then I'm gonna delve in deep on my experience this past weekend. I don't know if you want to hear about it with going down to Titleist, as well as going through our picks from last week where we did both the Zurich and the Chevron, and then rounding the episode out with the unpopular golf opinions. So, how was your weekend of watching golf?
I didn't watch a second of golf this weekend. Very uncharacteristic of me, but I just didn't sit down and watch a second of it. I don't know what happened. I just guess I was just busy but yeah, I didn't watch a second of golf. I read up on it, watched the highlights and all that stuff, but I didn't watch any live golf this weekend at all.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I got all of my information from Instagram and TikTok. Um,
hmm
had to sit through that overtime winner for the Leafs on Saturday. That was kind of hard for me to hear while I'm driving down
Yeah.
the 401, frustrated with
We're
traffic.
recording earlier tonight just so I can watch the Leafs get out of the first round for the first time.
I still have Tampa in 7 because I still
No.
don't trust the Leafs to make it out of anything. But this isn't a hockey podcast, so we
No.
shouldn't bring up our opinions on what's happening in the NHL playoffs right now. So we're gonna start off with our recap on our picks. Did you take a look at the recap totals for the picks?
I did, and it looked pretty good.
Eh,
You had a good week, but I'm still looking at the total is still looking really good for myself.
yeah, I'm still 17 shots back, but
Yeah,
you did have two of your picks did not make the cut. So
yeah.
yeah, so
But it was like a good to not make the cut. Like they didn't like they still shot 8 under. I still had 8 strokes taken off.
yeah, so Colin Morikawa and Max Homa 8 under, missing the cut at the Zurich. My Zurich pick was Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, which was they were finished 26 under par. Um, I would have been a lot closer if Lydia Ko didn't miss the cut at 3 over par.
Yeah, she had a bad week. It looks like.
Yeah, which players are allowed to have bad weeks.
Yeah.
You also had Lexi Thompson, who missed the cut at +2.
hmm
Again, it is what it is. I've had what? This is my first week where I haven't had someone that wasn't like plus a gazillion for the weekend.
Yeah, this is the best you've done.
This is the best I've done in total. Brooke Henderson, I had. She made the cut. She finished at even par. Then you stole my wife from me, Nelly Carter, at -9.
Yeah, she did pretty good.
So for the week totals, I was -23, you were -15, and then overall total, you're at sitting at -54, and
That's
I'm
pretty
at
good.
-37.
That's really good.
So you're still in the lead by 17 shots, just because of Corda being 9 under and not winning.
hmm
So, recapping the Zurich, let me pull up the
My
leaderboard.
bullet point for the I have one bullet point for the Zurich, and it just says nothingness.
Yeah, nothing really happened. Nothing
Nothing. It wasn't.
interesting. I mean, Adam Hadwin and Nick Taylor came runner-up, both Canadians.
Hmm.
They finished minus 28.
And the only Instagram content I even saw from this whole tournament was after Colin Morikawa, after making the cut, did this little interview with a 14-year-old kid who wants to be a golf reporter when he grows up. That's literally the only footage I saw from this tournament on social media. The rest I had to go looking for.
Yeah, I saw stuff with um Fitzpatrick and his brother, so Matt and Alex. They finished T19 at 19 under par. But like I've seen stuff about them because obviously it's older brother and younger brother playing together, so it was kind of a storyline
Yeah, he
going
just
on.
won last weekend, so
Yeah, so
they're
I
gonna
saw some
be.
things about them, but I didn't see anything too like crazy and too out there from it. Um, and then again with the Chevron, it's the LPGA major, so LPGA they're killing it on social media right now. Whoever's doing their TikToks and Instagram stuff, they need a raise. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they have a tournament that week or whatnot. They're always posting something. And I saw someone post about the fact that golf.com has posted less than 10 times about the LPGA tour compared to like the men's side, which is predominantly
Mhm.
what they're focusing on. But then you go over and look at the LPGA's Instagram itself and TikTok, and they're killing it over there. So, like, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have known that Corda was in it until like I looked it up. I don't. What is it? Vu won.
Yeah,
Just
I have that leaderboard up.
yeah, Vu won. She is ranked 40th in the LPGA right now. So
Hmm.
that's a nice first place prize for the $5 million purse.
Yeah,
This is the first time it was at the course in Houston.
I did like that they carried over the jump
Yes, they did
jump in the
carry over the
pond.
jump. I will put it in here. Remember, Dylan, put it in here in the edit. Because last week I said I was going to put some stuff in the thing, and I totally forgot to do it in the edit.
Very good.
Next,
Really
we
funny.
got. They talked about how it's a new course and they had to learn a new course. Well, the course that they were just on is going under restoration, and they're redoing most of the course. So next year they're going to be learning a whole new course at the same time.
That's pretty
So
good.
I'm excited to see how the course looks differently in the next iteration of the event, which would be next year. And I maybe if I get a chance to go to Houston, I'll try to sneak on the course.
I'd be excited. I've always wanted to go golf in Houston. I've heard there's just really good golf down in Texas. I've always heard that. Like the random golf club headquarters is down in Texas, so
Yeah, good
it's
is in
definitely a
Texas as well.
yeah,
Like
definitely
Texas is, I would say,
team.
second to or third to Florida or Arizona. I would much
Hmm.
rather play in Arizona or Florida.
I'd put Arizona top for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean Arizona, their summers are absolutely terrible, but
Yeah.
their winters are hit or miss. Because like if you think back to the Waste Management this year, it was cold, and like thinking
Hmm.
about being in Arizona and being cold, it's just the fact that it's the desert. So if it's a cold front coming in, there's no helping in it. Same with when it's hot, it's really hot. Whereas Florida,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of difference where it can be really, really hot
Yeah,
and
but
then it
you're
storms
all
for 50
muggy and
minutes.
gross.
Yeah, but then it's really hot. Then it storms for about an hour or two, and then you got
It's
nice
not
weather.
as hot, but the air you have to push through to walk through because it's all thick.
I don't know. Southern Cal golf is really good too. So
That's another one on the golf destination bucket list is California.
yeah. So the what's on the golf bucket list that is not playing a golf course is definitely the Scotty Cameron studio shop in SoCal.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I would spend a lot of money in that place.
Yeah, that'd be a dangerous spot. I need to get a new putter. So I'm looking at Scotties, but they're just too damn expensive for me. I just can't do it.
Hey, there is the thing of the Scotty tax.
Yeah.
You know what the Scotty tax is?
No.
You buy one and you want another one.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna stick with I'm like really looking at the Seymour putters.
Yeah. Have you heard of Makefield putters?
No.
So I haven't actually tried a Makefield putter for me because I've only tried the right-handed versions.
Hmm.
They look like a spaceship, but they feel pretty good. Like I said, I've only tried
Makefield?
it. Makefield, yeah. I've
The
tried it
last
out.
golf putter you'll ever need. Well, I doubt that. Well, they look pretty cool actually.
Yeah. They
Let's
give up.
see.
They give off like smaller lab putter vibes.
Yes, I agree. It's kind of like a little upstart group. Yeah, they look pretty nice. I'm trying to find a price point for them. Yeah, I like the Seymours, the anything center shafted. Seymour does a lot of center shafted stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at the center shafted putter. I just like the way they feel all the time.
Yeah. What about the like? Are you looking
Oh,
for a blade center shafted or a mallet center shafted?
anything that feels good. I have a mallet right now, but I don't know. It might be time to switch back to a blade. I used to have a blade before, but it was just from my like beginner like learning set that
Yeah.
you get when you first get into golf.
Because I know TaylorMade, you can customize a spider that has a center shafted in there.
Mm.
Um, Obviously, you're customizing it, so it's going to be a little more expensive. Uh,
Speaking of TaylorMade, we should check to see if that bag is up for grabs yet. What was that website you were saying it would be on?
there's an app. It's like they give you like so you could literally buy like an old Colin Morikawa wedge. That
Okay,
is on there, but let's look on their actual website.
I'm looking on the vault.
As of right now, on
Bunch of head covers.
the Canadian website, it's not there.
There is a ton of spider head covers.
Yes.
Vault.
Um,
Because that bag, I still haven't been able to get over that bag. It was the nicest bag I have ever seen.
and we're talking about the tailor-made staff bag for this Chevron Championship. If
Yes.
people are wondering, I'll put in
Yeah.
a photo here. Dylan, remember, put a photo in here.
Dylan, put the damn photo.
I kind of sucked at my video editing because I was just trying to make sure I got it out in time.
I want to buy this bag.
Um, the other thing, hold on, I'm gonna send you over a photo. I saw this today. It is a tailor-made P790s.
Okay.
I don't like, or no, P770s. I don't like the feel of those irons, both the P790s and the P770s. But just the way it looks sick. It just gives me like Spitfire vibes.
Oh, that's sick.
Again, I'm putting the photo
That's really
here.
cool. I really like that. I like. I don't know if I. Ah, the more I look at it, the less I like it. But originally, like first glance, it looks really cool. But I like just the look of traditional golf clubs.
Those are, I feel like those are the like irons or whatever that I would put in like just in a staff bag in an office one day.
Yeah, just not ever hit.
Yeah, they will be display irons. Like it will be just like, oh, you
Their
come in.
blackout irons were the coolest.
I would say the Titleist T100 blackouts
I
were
know,
so much better.
but the white that the TaylorMade had in there, uh, like it offset it so well. There's a little pop of white. It was really good. Those are probably the coolest clubs I've ever seen.
I like the Titleist ones with the gray accents and silver, not the white.
P790 Phantom Black irons for $2,000.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Um,
I can customize them. Yeah, let me get distracted.
well, if we're going to talk about iron sets, um, why don't we get into what I was doing last weekend real quick before we talk about the
Yeah, I'd love
Mexico?
to hear that.
Okay, so I went down to Eagles Nest for a Titleist club fitting. So I've been playing the Pro V1 X for the past like 5 years, I think.
Hmm.
And turns out it's still the right ball for me, so that nothing has changed.
That's good.
That's good. That's good. That's good. This is. Should I start with the most surprising part to me, or should I just?
Yeah, go with the most surprising part.
Okay, so the most surprising part is my irons. So for my 4 and 5 iron, I got fitted into T100s,
Hmm.
Dynamic Gold S300, a degree flat on the lie angle, standard loft.
Yeah.
So iron shafts chains from what I currently have. I have a T200 in my 4 iron right now, and then T100S in my 5 iron. So
Yeah.
the reason why we went with less loft is because less loft, more spin, more control. And yes, it's cool to hit a 4 iron 225 yards, but when it's spinning at like 3,000 RPMs, there's no way I'm holding that green.
Hmm.
So if I'm hitting into a par 5, I need to club down, even though it's the distance, because it's just going to roll out.
Hmm.
Then into the 6 iron, I got fitted into 620 CBs and the 6 iron and 7 iron. Again, I'll be
Interesting.
putting images up of what clubs we're talking about at this time.
Yeah.
Honestly, the 620 CBs, in my opinion, is the or is it 620 or is it 20? Hold on. Yeah, 620 CBs, in my opinion,
Hmm.
are the best looking irons on the market.
They
Have
look
you?
pretty. I'm looking at them right now. They look really nice.
Yeah, they just look so clean. And then
Yeah. Very.
8 and 9 iron, I got fitted into the 620 MBs.
Yeah.
And then my pitching wedge is a Vokey. So that one,
I prefer the look of the MBs, like fullbacks.
yes, I like
I
the
don't know,
look of
something
the
about them.
C.
They look very like classic and old school.
Yes,
That's
the
just me.
MBs look very classic and old school. The CBs look very, they just look clean, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then my pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge are all Vokies that I got fit into. The ones 46, which is the pitching wedge, it's a degree weak, so it's 47. So that's the same loft as what would be on the pitching wedge for the MB. Um, 52, a degree strong, so it's gets that to that 51, and then 54 degree weak to 55, and then 60, which is what I currently kind of have. So the The 54 and the 60 I currently have in the bag. It's just
Mhm.
basically what it is the irons is what I'm looking at. Because I didn't gain anything in the 3-wood area or the driver area. If I was to switch anything about that, it would be the Ventus TR Blue X 60 for both of them. It felt more stable than the shaft that I currently have, but
Mhm.
um, it is what it is. But that being said, you were talking about the P790s was what 2000.
Yeah, P790, like the blackout, like no, I can never remember what that they actually called it, but yeah, the P790 Black Edition, Phantom Black. It's 2000 Canadian before
Yes.
taxes.
So, um, with taxes, just the iron. So the um, 4 to gap wedge because of the loft changes for me to buy right now is $2,116.
Wow.
Yes, which at this time I'm not gonna get them. I'm gonna wait and see what happens because
Hmm.
hopefully it ends up being that I do something crazy in this golf season and people notice me and say, hey, here's some free stuff. Or
That'd be
I'm
sick.
just going to save up and get them eventually.
Yeah,
So,
that's unreal.
yeah, the guy there was very knowledgeable. You could ask him any question about pretty much anything that he had to offer, and he would have an answer for you. He talked about the, um, or we asked about what is it, the Autoflex shafts, the pink ones, and like I said that the Autoflex was a gimmick, and he could neither confirm or deny that. Just saying.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So it was a very cool experience. You you should definitely
Yeah,
get fitted one day. You'll enjoy it.
I don't know.
You'll
I like
enjoy
getting my
it.
clubs off marketplace.
Hey, at least you'll like, cause like like right now I have my fit sheet, so I know what I should be in. So say for example on marketplace there's a set of T100s that have the dynamic gold S300s in there. Might as well get those, and because they're all going to be all the same lofts pretty much they're like a degree stronger than the MBs and CBs, but I can save a lot of money. And then all I need to do
Yeah.
is just go to Swing Factory, like I dropped my clubs off today, or I dropped them off on Monday, and just get them a degree flat.
Yeah.
So it works out both ways, whether if you want to buy brand new or you want to buy old. Um, you just kind of got to understand what realm you're looking for in the sense of if there's a set of irons that are like the Sim 2s versus P770s. If you get fitted for the P770s and you buy a set of Sim 2s, you're not going to they're
Not
not going to
remotely the same.
they're not going to be nearly the same.
Yeah.
Because loft jacking is a thing.
Oh, big time.
And that's the reason why I'm got fitted into the actual blades. Like, one, I didn't really think I was the best ball striker or not a good enough ball striker to use them, but after hitting them, they kind of convinced me that I am a pretty damn good ball striker to hit them.
Nice.
But the difference I've noticed between the loft jack did like by 2 degrees for the T100S is just 2 degrees. Instead of my 7-iron carrying 180 yards, I'm down to like 170 with almost 7,000 spin, which I would be able to stop it on any green. Whereas
Yeah.
when I'm hitting it 180 yards with around 6,000 and spin, it's going to roll out a little bit, which it's cool to hit it 10 yards further, but if you can't score,
Yeah.
So like that's the different aspect that I'm in compared to a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, I just want to hit the ball as far as possible. I'm trying to score. They're
Mm-hmm.
just trying to kill the ball. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, over the break, I was looking. So I had my basic starter set irons up until just January. I think is when I bought these new set. I got Mizuno JPX 850s, and I found it took a long time to adjust to hitting like an actual iron because I think these are I don't know what category they fall into. I think they're CBs, but yeah, they look like CBs. And it took me a long time to adjust from hitting like like player's iron, something that's very forgiving and really easy to hold the green to hitting an actual iron. But once I figured it out, it felt really good and beneficial to my game, and it just hitting the ball felt a lot better.
all the club nerds are just screaming at you right now
Why?
because a player's iron is like your blades, your CBs, stuff like that.
I've always thought a player's iron is like the fat ones that just
No.
ball goes a mile.
So there's like three categories of iron. So there's player's irons, which is like your CBs, your MBs. You got your player's distance, which is like your T100S, P770s, and then you got your player improvement irons, which is the player improvement
Yeah,
irons are your massive heads that look like spaceships.
that's what I meant. I used to have massive heads that look like spaceships when I said player's iron. I meant the massive head that looks like a spaceship, and then I went down to the. I'm pretty confident they're CB. Can you confirm that or deny that?
Um, Mizuno JPX what?
850.
Um, I don't want a shot for this. I just want images.
Sport.
Yeah. I think they're like those player distance ones. Because I
Probably.
don't think they would consider like a players club because just by the
No,
photos they
definitely
look a
not.
little bit bigger. Obviously, if I yeah, looking at the top line, it looks more like a player's distance iron compared to
Yeah.
a player's
Definitely
iron.
not a blade, but also definitely not like a improvement iron.
Yeah, it's one of those like midway points. It would be similar to what I'm playing
There we
right
go.
now with the T100S.
Yeah, and I also had like on my other irons, I had regular shafts in them, and my swing speed was just way too fast for that. So once I got like, I didn't realize how much because I've always like until I really got into like gear and stuff. Other than the fact I called a player's iron uh, the spaceship irons, but once I really got into gear, I didn't realize how much it mattered like that much with irons. Like I was always like how all the like a regular golfer is like I didn't really ever cared about driver and 3 wood and all the technology that went into that. And I didn't think you could really get that much different from an iron, but it's insane all the different styles and kinds and stuff you can have that just completely changes your game
Yeah, like in my
if you get the right
fitting,
one.
literally a shaft that was 10 grams heavier made the difference between finding geometric center and slightly below geometric center. 10 grams.
Mm.
10 grams went from being a okay ball striker to a tour average ball striker. So
It's nuts how just like these little tweaks and stuff that like nobody would really ever think about just makes a world of difference.
yeah, like it. I I honestly can't tell you all the things about it because I'm like as much as I know about clubs and shafts and stuff like that, I don't know everything and I don't know how they all imply. Like I can tell you that the Ventus TR is a little bit stiffer than the or Ventus TR Blue is a little bit stiffer than Ventus Blue because of just the fact that that's what it's marketed as, and it's a little bit more
Mhm.
stable. I even felt that in my fitting. But like again, I couldn't tell you why it's like that. I can't tell you why that the difference between 10 grams in an iron shaft made me a like tour average ball striker to from a average like amateur ball striker. It
Mhm. Yeah, it's just it's crazy. And then it is another thing that sets us apart from the pros that they have like teams of people around them at all times to get the exact number to the decimal in every aspect that they need in their club. That like just makes them perfect.
well, look at Xander Schauffele. He's playing like a 4 wood because his 3 wood goes too far, but a 5 wood isn't far enough.
Yeah,
He
like
his
who the
on the
fuck plays a
PG
forward?
yeah on the PGA tour, every player their clubs go a specific distance. They want their 7 iron to travel this far, their 8 iron this far, 9 iron this far. Each wedge needs to go this far. They have their distances, and whatever they need to do to get those distances, that's what happens. So, like if we think about it, Tiger has used the same shafts in his iron since he got on tour. I believe it's Dynamic Gold Tour Issue X100s. Those are the ones he's used since he got on tour. Then there's people who end up trying new things. Like Bryson previously wasn't with LA Golf, and then LA Golf came out, and now everything Bryson does is with LA Golf. So there, you can kind of tell the difference between some players on tour. You have the ones that are sticking to their what they know and they can trust because they've used it for so long, and the people who are trying to just gain every little advantage that they possibly can. So
Hmm.
you got the tinkerers versus
Oh
the guys who just believe in that whatever they have they can swing.
yeah, you bringing up Bryson made me look at my one point that I have on here was Bryson did a shoey on the driving range this
Yes.
week.
So are we going to talk about Live this weekend now?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So Live this weekend was absolutely crazy.
Bonkers,
Did you
just nuts. It was a great weekend for Liv.
like, especially because the PGA Tour had like nothing happen this weekend, nothing really
Yeah,
interesting. Like,
it was just
and
like a very vanilla yogurt weekend for the LPGA and the PGA.
like, obviously, I would think the LPGA wouldn't like challenge Live necessarily. Like, people who are going to watch Live are going to watch Live, but people who are going to watch the
Mhm.
LPGA are going to watch the LPGA. It's the people who weren't watching
Honestly,
the
if
PGA Tour where were they going, and I think they were going towards Live.
yeah, and if I were on like on the fence between, because I'm kind of an in between viewer, I definitely would have picked Liv this weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I I don't blame the Live players for going. I don't like Live. We talked about it
No,
before with the not liking the team style and how they do it. But this weekend, just the watering hole that they had, it was supposed to. Everyone was
so good,
saying it was going to be a carbon copy of 16 at Waste Management. It was still a
and it kind
riot.
of was, but that's like okay because we all love 16.
But the thing was, it was different.
Yeah,
The atmosphere was different. They were kind of letting them do things. It wasn't like kind of restricted. Whereas like sometimes 16 feels a little restricted.
mm,
Like
yeah, I can see that.
Joel Damon got fined money for taking his shirt off on the green at the Waste Management.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that. That sucks.
he talked about it in the Full Swing documentary.
I missed that. Yeah, that Chase Kepka home one on at the watering hole. That was electric.
Especially with the whole everything going crazy, them
That's
throwing.
got to be not good for the greens, right? Like them throwing a bunch of beer and stuff. Like that's got to make putting impossible because you're gonna have all these wet spots that are just gonna slow a putt down when you're not expecting it, right? Am I wrong?
I don't know. They're in the middle of Australia, so I don't think
Yeah,
the. I mean, it is kind of their fall time right now, so I'm guessing it's probably not as hot as normal. But
yeah. It was. I don't know. I really don't care if it makes putting harder. It was just fun to watch. I was just curious if it
yeah,
did make a difference.
yeah. I couldn't tell you if it did make a difference or not. I haven't been around enough people spilling beer on greens to figure it out.
Well, you haven't played enough fun golf.
Um, but the other thing that I think Liv won this week was bringing a tournament to Australia.
Yeah, that's definitely a big market that the PGA misses out on. And Australians are just the best people ever.
Oh, and
And I think
they know how to party too.
they know how to party. They have fun at anything that they do. So it was just yeah, I was thrilled that they had a golf event there, and it went off exactly how you'd expect a um, tournament in Australia to go.
Yeah.
Like it was perfect.
And like I think the last time there was a professional tournament at that stature in Australia, I believe it was the President's Cup before COVID at
Oh
Royal
yeah,
Melbourne. I believe it was Royal Melbourne. I'm not sure. Fact
I
check
think
me.
you're correct. I'm pretty confident you're correct. It was at Royal Melbourne. Yeah, US won 16-14.
I am
Who do you
so
root for in a in the um like
President's Cup.
Ryder Cup, President's Cup? Who like what side do you root for?
President's Cup. I'm cheering for the world.
Oh yeah. What about Ryder Cup?
Depends.
What do you mean?
Am I
Like
there in
depends
person
how.
or am I sitting at home?
You're sitting at home.
Sitting at home, probably Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always root for the States. Maybe that's just because like a lot of my favorite players are on that team. But I always rooted for the States.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know like JT's my favorite player and he plays on the States, but like a lot of the times I feel like the reason why I choose Europe is just because if I'm thinking of like watching like the World Cup, like the FIFA World Cup, I before Canada was in the World Cup, I was cheering for Germany, the Euro stuff like that. So it's always Europe when it's like
Hmm.
Europe versus the U.S. I'm always picking a European team, so I don't know if that has to do anything. But I can tell you, if I did go to the Ryder Cup in the U.S., I would be cheering for the U.S. because I'd be scared to see what happened.
Yeah, you get jumped. You get absolutely demolished if you didn't cheer for the U.S.
Yeah, so that's why I said it depends. Where am I? Am I watching it from home or if I'm at the
Yeah.
actual event?
What if you're at the event but it's in Europe?
Oh, Europe. Have you
Mm.
just the European fan base for European stuff is just insane.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I just something about being an underdog, not the underdog, but something about being the enemy on the over enemy lines. It's kind of intriguing to me. I like being the antagonist.
You you don't like being the hero. You like being the villain.
Yeah, I do like being the villain. It's easier, less expectation.
Less expectations.
Um, the 2024 Presidents Cup. I'm sure you know this, but the 2024 Presidents Cup is in Canada.
It's in Montreal, isn't
So
it, or just outside Montreal?
yeah, we could make a trip.
That would definitely be fun.
It's the Royal Montreal Golf Club.
So you know, if I turn professional before then, and I'm part of the PGA of Canada, I get into that for free, right?
Really?
Yeah. Same with the Canadian Open.
I know that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's crazy. Um, So back to the live topic. So Taylor Gooch, he ended up
Yeah.
winning the tournament.
Big weekend for that guy. 4 mil. I just can't believe that these guys just get $4 million for playing 72 holes.
But like, listen to this scorecard, his like round scorecards. Okay, -10, -10, +1. Like, how do you shoot like -20 through 2 days?
Yeah.
And
And then just one over.
then one over. Like
That's nuts.
that kind of just blows my mind. Like,
But he still won. I mean, there is no picture. Like, there's no pictures on the scorecard, and there's no pictures on the trophies. But I guess there's not really trophies for that. There's more big ass checks. But
yeah, and the
still
champagne
got the job
showers
done.
like F1.
Yeah, I kind of like that though. Like, I like it when I like golf being
A spectacle.
I don't know. I like golf being a spectacle. Yeah, that's exactly it. I like the big moments. And I feel like a lot of the times I'm saying it like a lot right now. I apologize to people listening, but I feel that when a weekend like we just had on the PGA where nothing really happened, it was kind of just a bleh, like whatever. It could be amped up by 1,000 if someone just pops a bottle of champagne and starts spraying everywhere. Do you agree? Like, that would just change the landscape a little bit, and it would make things a little more interesting to watch if there was a bit more fanfare when guys won.
Yeah,
But I just don't like the way the way that Liv's going about their whole approach.
yeah, that does make sense. Like, I understand where you're coming from with that. But I feel like a lot of Liv's spectacle is like in your face, like look at us, look at us. Whereas like if you think of the spectacle of like Tiger winning the Masters, Tiger just went about and did his business. So like there's two different spectacles.
But Tiger was his own spectacle. I guess that's the exact point you were just making, huh?
Yeah, like when he went out and did his business, or anytime someone's walking down 18 with like a 2-shot lead at a Masters or a major, that spectacle of seeing everyone following him, like that's created by themselves instead of them trying to shove it down someone's throat.
But that's only 4 times a year.
Yes, I know. So I think this is what the PGA Tour is trying to do with these elevated events, is trying to make them more of the spectacle, like, oh my God, look at how many amazing players are going. So, whereas Liv is like, or look at how much money we're throwing at the people. Here's the bottle of champagne. Here's this. Here's that. Whereas if they can take the approach of a little bit from Liv, where it's in your face, and a little bit from the PGA Tour, just letting it happen, you'd have a good balance in that spectacle.
Be perfect. It was like I feel that we need that to keep this game interesting for guys our age that aren't absolute golf nuts, for just like the casual viewer, because we have so many sports that are just so much more electric to watch. Hockey, football, basketball. I'm not gonna say baseball because that's still in my books one of the most boring sports to watch. Guys our age, unless you're an absolute nut, aren't gonna want to sit down and watch guys play 18 holes on Sunday, unless it starts to get a little bit more electric.
Yeah. Like the other thing is like what the Masters did, which I really liked, is they had every shot shown and they uploaded it on YouTube, and you could watch every single shot that Rahm had for the day. So like if they can turn the highlight videos into more of a broadcast type thing, that would make it like more entertaining. Where it's like,
you know what was weird? So I was trying to catch up on recaps of just watch like a recap of the Zurich Classic, just so I knew kind of a general idea what happened. I couldn't find a recap anywhere. There was no like 10-minute video that just kind of described this is what happened on day 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was just kind of. I feel like that we're also lacking in that too.
Yeah, like if you look at Augusta National doing the Masters YouTube channel, Instagram, stuff like that, and then the Augusta
They have a
Women's
podcast
Amateur
too.
stuff, they do a really good job of recapping everything and making it interesting for people who didn't watch it and have
Hmm.
or looking into it. So, whereas the PGA Tour needs to figure out how to do it that way. Like, I
Yeah,
honestly, I don't think I would have known the Augusta Women's Amateur even existed if it wasn't for one day I was watching YouTube and it was the next video that popped up and it was a recap from the day. Like,
yeah,
granted, I know some people who have played in the event now, so I guess like I would have found out eventually. But when I first found out about it,
yeah.
I had no clue it existed until it was like 2 weeks after the event, and there was a video on my YouTube channel, like my YouTube feed that popped up for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need a little bit more of a presence on social media.
Yeah, and like the PGA Tour, like I said before, the LPGA is killing it with the social media stuff. The PGA Tour needs to
Hmm.
step up.
We
Um,
need like you. Have you ever seen the Paralympics TikTok?
yes, I have.
Their TikTok is phenomenal, and I feel like we should get their social media person for on the PGA side.
You know what? Also, I think the PGA Tour should do. They should hire, they should hire a foursome of golfers. Okay, they can play the day after the event, and they play 18 holes from the tees. You have like a regular old scratch golfer. You have a mid handicapper. You have a high handicapper and a beginner. And then they go out and play 18 holes on the same course the PGA Tour was just on.
I've always said they need someone like the last pairing of the first 2 rounds. They need just like some average Joe who's a 20 handicap who's gonna go out there and chunk it around just so we can get a live comparison to
Yeah.
like
Well,
how bad these guys. Like it'd be really funny if we had Rom taking a shot, middle of the fairway, sticks it to like 8 feet, and then it cuts to fucking Joe Blow, who's like slap slicing balls off the tee and all that stuff. Like it'd just be a really good, like almost comic relief, and just like, oh yeah, these guys are just phenomenal at what they do.
yeah, and I remember someone was asking me, like, oh, how do you become good at golf? My answer to them was, you don't become good, you just become less shit.
Yeah, it's true. You can always get better.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not. You don't become good, you become less shit. Because the difference between, like, where I'm at and, like, me as a scratch golfer around there to someone who is a plus handicapper isn't more birdies, it's less doubles and less bogeys.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's not about being insane and making 13 birdies around. Like, I could have a lucky day and go out and shoot and have 13 birdies. But
Hmm.
then it's eliminating those doubles and stuff like that. Like, my
You
first
have
men's league
13
round.
birdies and 5 doubles, and you're still,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, my first men's league of the season, I shot a 40 with two doubles. So, other than two holes, I made one mistake and I made one birdie.
Yeah.
So, like, it's the doubles that kill you. And, like, I'm not someone who goes out and makes a ton of doubles. It's usually there's a reason behind it, an errant tee shot, OB, or end up in a hazard, or kind of get stuck and then try to be a hero and stuff like that. That creates
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
doubles.
Those hero shots, I've cut those hero shots out of my game this year. I told myself, I'm like, more like you're not the guy to hook up 4 iron 5 feet off the ground around a tree. I just take my 56, punch it back out into the fairway, and then take my medicine. And it has significantly made the game easier.
Yes, and my experience with having hero shots per se, I don't necessarily call it like think of them as hero shots. It's more I'm hitting like a pitch shot with my like pitching wedge or whatever and getting it back in the fairway, but I'm still trying to advance it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Whereas there's a lot of times when I bring double into play is I hit the hazard off the tee, or I hit just an errant tee shot and it's in a different fairway, and then I'm going to have to get it over a tree or under a tree to get it back into the fairway, and then you come into issues where you're not perfect, so your stinger climbs up a little bit too much and it clips the tree. You get those things. So, in all honesty, if I would have just hit like a 3-wood or a hybrid and hit the center of the fairway, I would be in a much better position to save par
Hmm.
instead of having bogey as best.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I've taken a lot more like hybrids off the tee. I've taken a lot more uh 3 woods off the tee, 5 woods off the tee. And that has dropped strokes considerably. Like the first, so I've only really gotten a chance to play nine because I've had a pretty busy schedule. So my first nine, I shot like a 57. It just like was awful, just an absolute hack. And then the next nine, I went out and I shot a 53, and I was like, okay, at least I'm trending in the right direction. Still absolutely hacked the ball around, but it was the second nine of the year. And then last week I went out and I shot 46. I was okay, it's getting better. And then on the weekend I went out and it was pissing rain, storming. It was wet out. I had one tee shot where I thought I dried my grip enough, thought I dried my hands enough. I threw my driver like 50 yards because it just flew out of my hands. And I ended up shooting a 44. And I was like, well, if I can shoot a 44 in those conditions, like I'm in a pretty good spot with where my game is, and it's just been taking those, playing smart golf is really what I've committed to this year. Just smart golf.
yes. So, you saw my scorecard that I sent you, right? The
Yeah.
when I played on red. So,
Mhm.
this 9 hole shot 34, 2 under par. I hit 2 fairways out of the possible 6.
It's just smart golf, like playing the right shot.
Like, so one red, I missed the fairway, but I was in like the fairway on 5 because I hit it up the hill and I just kind of left it out there, didn't draw. 2, I hit a draw. I was about 50-yard pitch shot in from the rough. 3 is a par 3. 4, dead center. That for some reason that hole suits my eye when it suits no one's eye.
Hmm.
5, I pushed it in the rough. Still got to the green in 2. 6, hit the fairway. For some reason, I'm either in the middle of the fairway or in the trees on the left-hand side. Doesn't matter. 7's a par 3. And then 8, I pulled it a little bit into the rough. Got to the green in 2. 2 putted for birdie. And then 9 was a par 3. The
Yeah.
reason why I brought that up is because on every single one of those holes, I hit driver. And every single one of the holes that I've hit driver on, it kind of suits my eye. Whereas on white, where I made doubles, I hit driver, and the holes did not suit my eye. So white
Yeah.
4, there is hazard on the right-hand side. I'm a left-hand golfer who draws the ball, and there's a tight tree line on the left. So I am forced to start the ball more to the right, and then my ball goes more right. So realistically, in that scenario, a hybrid off the tee, maybe 3-wood, because usually I play a cut with my 3-wood.
Hmm.
So I'll end up. Those would be probably the best case scenarios for me to hit off that tee. And then same thing goes for the other double, which was on 6, tight tree line down the left hand side, OB hazard on the right. So knowing what suits my eye knows what club I'm gonna hit.
Yeah. Also, I just realized I'm a fucking idiot. Leafs don't play until tomorrow night. I was checking. I'm just trying to get the game just like loaded up, and I was like, "Why is it not playing the Leafs game? I don't want to watch Florida and Boston tonight." And I checked, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they don't play until tomorrow." So
we started early for no reason.
for no reason.
Well, okay, so we've gotten off topic so many times. So back.
Yeah.
So it's the Mexican Open this weekend.
Tis the Mexican Open.
Have you seen this field?
I am looking at it right now, and I will let you know when I recognize the name. Gary Woodland, I know that name.
Yeah.
Let's see. Callum Tarrant, I know that name. Streelman, Smotherman. Not a lot of heavy hitters that I'm seeing. So Rom's in here, that's good.
Yeah. Perth.
Pendrith, Canadian guy. Man, Peter Malnati. He was on the leaderboards a lot at the beginning of the year.
Brian, right? Wesley's in this one.
Yeah.
And is in Akshay too.
I haven't seen him yet.
He might. I thought he was in there when I looked at it. I'm not 100% sure. I was.
Oh look.
Spanish or English? English, please.
Yeah, he is. He's playing. He'd be playing.
Yeah. So.
I do have my picks, so I did my research.
Yeah, I don't really have many picks because there's not too many people in the field, and I kind of normally just go off the seat of my pants, anyways.
Yeah, Rom's gonna win again. Is that even a question?
Yeah, Rom's gonna win. So
he won last year.
So I won.
He's gonna win again.
I won the week previous, so that means I get first pick.
Fair enough.
So for our picks, our surefire pick, I'm taking Rom this week.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a good bet. All right, I had these two guys lined up. I know he's not going to beat Rom. I just really hope he plays well enough to get me a low number. I don't know. My big pick's gonna be Tony Finau. Tony Finau is playing.
I know. I saw him. He was one of the ones I was thinking.
He's gonna be my big guy. So that's our heavy hitter. Then we have our top 10 guy. Is there any guys in the top 10 other than
the
Rom?
top 10 guy is the heavy hitter. Then we have like the dark horse.
Didn't we have like
and the random?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, heavy hitter, random, dark horse.
Yeah.
Got it. Didn't our random have to be outside of the top 50? Or no, our dark horse had to be outside of the top 50.
Yeah, it was just someone who was kind of. I would say for the most part they're inside the top 50. They're just outside of that top 15, 20.
Okay. I'm looking. I know my dark horse pick. I haven't picked my random yet. Do you have a random?
Random. I think I'm going Dylan Fratelli.
Dylan Fratelli.
Yeah.
What OWGR is he?
I have no clue. I just know the name. He
just recognize it, just scrolling through.
He rocks a Garrison Max with the South African flag colors on it. That's all I know about him.
For my random, let's see, who am I liking today? Because last time Joel Damon his name just popped out at me, and he played pretty well. I got you. Who wants to be on my team? I'm gonna pick
Dylan
Streelman.
Fratelli is world number 207.
My random is Streelman.
Streelman?
Yeah, Kevin Streelman.
How do you spell that?
My guy. Streelman. He's got 2 career wins. He's been pro as long as I've been alive. He's 44 years old. This is a bad pick.
You just knew.
His name just popped out at me. But you know what? I have a couple strokes to play with.
Yes, you do have a couple strokes to play with. Do I double down on the previous time who let me down?
I don't know. I was wondering if you were going to do it. It's up to you.
There's an amateur in this field? What?
Who?
His name's Omar.
Omar.
Yep.
Omar Morales. He is from Mexico. Let's see, what can I find about Omar Morales?
I mean, Dylan Fratelli is plus 1,500.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
I'm just looking at the things on the PGA Tour website.
Yeah, that's what I do pretty much to make my picks. Omar Morales.
How is Rom only plus 250?
I might be tossing some money on Rom to win this weekend.
Yeah.
Just cause. Omar Morales is 406th in the World Amateur Golf Ranking. How is this guy in this event? What did he win to qualify?
He didn't win the Latin American because the Latin American AM played at the Masters.
His only win so far is the I'm probably butchering this, El Macero Classic. He won it this last month, or not this past weekend, or what day is it? He won April, the 14th of April to the 16th of April. So last weekend, 2 weekends ago.
So you got an exemption?
Yeah. That's the only thing I can guess. There's no way 406th in the World Golf Amateur rankings is qualifying.
I think I'm going against my whole Akshay Bhatia.
Yeah.
And I'm going Cam Champ.
Cam Champ.
Yeah.
He's kind of a sleeper. I would count him as a sleeper.
He is a sleeper. He is world number 222.
Oh my god, he is a sleeper. Jesus. What are his odds to win?
Plus one. What is it? 125
to win.
What is it? 125,000.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So my sleeper is gonna be. I've done a little bit of research on sleeper picks. Joseph Bramlett.
Joseph Bramlett.
He's at 189 world golf ranking. He looks goofy as hell in his PGA photo. But he's I don't know. He was in a lot of the articles I read, so I'm gonna pick him.
This is definitely. Oh, Molinari's in this tournament too?
Really?
Yeah.
Is it too late to change picks?
Yeah, they're already locked in.
Dang it! I was gonna switch out Streelman for Molinari. Man, if you look at Molinari's PGA like profile, he looks faded.
uh,
Like, he's staring into my soul right now. It's unsettling. Okay, all right, I gotta get off this.
so if Akshay Bhatia turns it around next time he's in the field, I'm picking him. But if he doesn't turn it around,
And then he's gonna tank it again.
I know it's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna pick him, and he's gonna be like, nope.
No, sir.
So, I have Rom. You have Fino. I have Fratelli. You have what is it? Streamman. Streelman. It's Stream or Strail.
Have you ever heard Kevin Streelman's name before?
No. I got Champ, and you got how do you say his last name?
Bramlett.
Bramlett. Did it end with an E?
2 T's.
Just 2 T's?
Pretty confident 2 T's.
Okay. I spelt it wrong, but that's okay.
Yeah, 2 T's. Confirmed.
So this is going to be a very exciting weekend of golf at the Mexican Open.
I don't even know if tossing money on Rahm is worth it this weekend. Like, you'd have to put a considerable amount for it to even be like have a decent payout.
Yeah. Before we get on to the final segment in the unpopular golf opinions, I want to ask your opinion on that PGA Tour Americas.
I really like it. I don't know. I don't really follow the amateur circuits all that much, but
well, it's not amateur.
I think
it's under it's under the Korn Ferry. So instead of it being like PGA Tour Canada, Latin American Tour, then Korn Ferry, it's PGA Tour Americas, then Korn Ferry.
I don't really follow the sub PGA Tour tours.
Yeah.
All that much. I watch a little bit of Korn Ferry when it's on. So I don't really have much background knowledge on the two tours, but from what I read, them merging seems like it's a cool opportunity for the guys playing in it to get a little bit more travel and experience on the road and all that stuff, and have it be a bit closer to what it's being like actually playing on the big show. But I don't know. I can't really speak that much on it because I don't really know that much about it.
So my opinion on it, one, it's gonna be one hell of a tour. They're gonna probably travel, if not or more than what they do on Korn Ferry, because you have Latin America, so you have all of like Mexico, you got Brazil, you got all Latin America. Then you come back up and you got the U.S. and Canada too to travel through.
Yeah,
so
it's big time traveling.
So for those guys who are freshly out of college and have very little sponsorship money, I don't know how reasonable it is to expect them to do that. Yes, the skill level on that tour is going to be insane, but again, are you going to have people who will withdraw from events down south and just play up here? And do you think there are people who will withdraw up here and just play down there, depending on where they're from?
Yeah, I don't know. They might. They're definitely gonna have rules in place to prevent that from being like a thing.
And I feel like my biggest concern about it is like my path to playing like on a tour like that is through PGA Canada, or the PGA Canada Tour. And now that's going away, and it's going to make it a lot harder to go to Q school and a lot less reasonable to go to Q school type thing. Next thing on the the list of that is we might lose the Windsor Championship.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Because if there's only 6 events in Canada for this tour and 6 events down south,
they're gonna come to Windsor.
why would they come play at Ambassador when they're going to be playing at TPC Toronto? They're going to be playing somewhere in BC. They're going to play somewhere in Alberta. Why would they play
Yeah.
multiple events in Ontario?
There's no point. They're not going to want to.
So
That'll
unless
suck.
something magical happens and they decide to keep the Windsor Championship, we might lose the Windsor Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate because
Very.
we literally just got it back this year because we didn't have it for COVID.
Yeah.
So
That would be really unfortunate. I was really looking forward to that.
yeah. So like it'll be there this year. It's just, will it happen next year? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason. The other reason that I find that this is kind of an idea in my opinion is like, if you look at mini tours here in Canada, or at least here in Ontario, you have Toronto Players Tour, you had the Great Lakes Tour, and then the East Coast Players Tour. So the Great Lakes Tour and East Coast Player Tour has merged. So they're all under one banner now. So yes, the prize pool is bigger, but again, there's not enough professional golf in Ontario where there's the ability for 3 tours. Now you're going to be taking basically, so if you look at the 2 tours, Latin America or PGA Tour Canada, they have a finite membership, okay? Then if you're going to take those 2 tours and merge them, they're going to have about the same number of membership for the one tour as they do for both the tours. So now our local mini tours and stuff like that, the skill level is going to increase, is going to be tougher and stuff like that. And that makes it a lot harder on myself.
Yeah, that does. It makes it harder for, but that could almost be better for the game, because it's kind of like it's the best of the best make it through. No?
Yeah, but like, Q School is still like, you're still only 5 days away from having a PGA Tour card. 5 good days away.
Yeah, that's true. That's nuts.
So like, where's the best of the best? There could be one of the best could show up to Q School, not play well, and you have someone who just played well for 5 days, and now they got a card.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, my dad just came downstairs, didn't realize we were recording a podcast.
Oh, that's all right.
So, where was I?
I don't remember.
It was just the level of professional golf is going to increase in Ontario, and I'm scared for it. That's basically what it is.
It just makes it that much more exciting.
Okay. So now we talked about the PGA Tour Americas. We talked about the Live in the Party Hole. We got our picks for the Mexican Open. The Zurich was a sleeper. Chevron was
nothing.
Like it was
Completely average.
It was just very hard to watch because it wasn't on everywhere, which is unfortunate. They need to get, if they want to grow the women's game, they need to get him on more than just Golf Channel in Canada. They need to have it on your TSNs, your whatnot.
Especially like for the, I kind of understand it as a like regular everyday or every weekend tournament where it's just kind of like doesn't, you know what I mean? Like I kind of understand it for that, but for the major, I think it especially should be on a couple more channels than just Golf Channel.
Yes, especially when you have the Zurich, who was an absolute sleeper this weekend.
Yeah, I would much rather have watched that than the Zurich.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't watch either.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I noticed, like, the U.S. Women's Open gets more media coverage and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But not necessarily the other majors.
Yeah, I feel like because then it does come down to the amount of like not as many people are watching, yes, but it also comes down to because it's the main reason it's not being marketed as much, and B that they don't have. It's the same argument in all of women's versus men's sports. It's just that it doesn't bring in the same amount of money. But I understand why, but I feel like there is a lot to be done about growing the women's game.
Well, if we look at the March Madness, did you hear about this?
No.
So ESPN does not have the rights to the men's tournament in the U.S. It's CBS.
Okay.
Okay. ESPN has the rights to the women's tournament. The tickets for the Final Four and the championship game in the women's tournament was more expensive than the men's because of like the resale value on it. Because
Yeah.
ESPN they leaned into having women's basketball. They leaned into I don't even know her name, the greatest college women's basketball player of
Yeah.
all time, whatever. They leaned into that storylines and
They
stuff
were
like that.
also electric. Who I forget. It was LSU and another team. They were just unreal in that uh, all the trash talking and everything.
Yeah, and ESPN leaned into it and they put out good content and stuff like that. This is like a full circle thing where how the LPGA is putting out this amazing content that
Hmm.
if ESPN picked up on and um, golf.com, all these other outsources started picking up on these stories like the fact that the jump's still in the tournament or that Brooke Henderson's first professional tournament on the LPGA tour, her sister was in it too.
Mm.
Like if they picked up on some of those stories and like talked about it as much as like the PGA tour talked about like Fitzpatrick boys playing together, I feel like they'll get more interest into the game. It's hard just them like the LPGA themselves pushing for it type thing.
Yeah.
Like so it's been done before and it's been done before in the sports world where people have cared more about the women's game than the men's game. It's happened in tennis for a while.
Hmm.
Like, look at Serena Williams, probably the most recognizable tennis player of all time, even though you got Federer, Nadal, and all those other guys.
Yeah.
I would say if you walk around just to a random public, they wouldn't be able to know who Serena Williams is over Federer or Nadal.
Definitely.
Whereas you walk around random people now, it's if you show them Tiger and Annika, no one's gonna know who Annika is. So that's where
No.
like they got to lean into their stars in the women's game to kind of uplift them, the rest of them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, so now to close out the show, we got unpopular golf opinions. We're gonna end it that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Perfect.
what's one of the unpopular golf opinions you got there?
I am. This is a good one. I like. This is a good one that I've had to kind of realize myself this past off season. I kind of came to terms with this. Um, so this is specifically talking about the subreddit, but I think this has to do with almost all like golfers in general. This sub thinks that anyone under a 10 handicap should have a beautiful textbook swing, and if you don't, then you're lying about your handicap. I know so many great players with not great swings, which I totally agree, and I didn't quite um, come to terms with or accept that your swing, the way your swing looks, doesn't really matter all that much as long as the ball goes where you want it to.
Yeah, look at
So it's not
Rom.
really much of an unpopular opinion, but it's more of a thing that more people need to realize in
Yes,
the golf community that if your swing can look busted, but who cares if the ball goes where you want it to?
Exactly. Like, look at Rom's swing, short backswing. That's the
Yeah.
easiest thing to do. Look at
That's
Matt.
literally the next comment on that post was if John Rahm posted this swing here and somehow people didn't know who it was, 100% people would tell him he sucks at golf.
Yeah. Next thing, Matt Wolf
Yeah,
with his big way outside.
yeah.
The textbook part of the swing, I would say, is that transition period from backswing to downswing. Your backswing could be way outside, way inside, whatever. The Every single one of the players on the PGA Tour in their downswing shallows at the club somehow. Even if they
Mhm.
cut the ball, they don't come. They don't when they cut the ball, they don't come across. They come down and through. It's that downswing portion where that's where they're textbook.
Yeah,
How do they get to the downswing portion? Doesn't matter. Like Tiger is someone who is kind of very outside the golf ball. Like if you want to look up a perfect golf swing, you're looking at Nelly Korda. She has like the textbook golf swing.
yeah.
Anyone else not named Nelly Korda, your swing is not textbook. But how many people are on the PGA Tour? How many people are professional golfers? How many people are low handicaps in this world? Their swings aren't perfect. Like my handicap has changed .2 since last year, and last year I was a slider where I kind of slid out and my swing doesn't look the best all the time. Sometimes it looks really good, sometimes it looks terrible. It depends on
Hmm.
the angle of the camera, because if you see my back shoulder dip, it looks weird, but when I'm hitting the golf ball, it's just how it works.
Go straight. That's all that matters. Or it goes where you not straight, but where you want it to.
Yeah. That's also a thing that TPI talks about, which is Titleist Performance Institute. They talk about it's not about having a specific golf swing. It's about like making sure your golf swing matches your body and how your
Hmm.
body can move. Like John Rahm, if he wanted to, he can do a full backswing because of his rotation of his hips and upper body. He can rotate that, but then that will cause him to over rotate, and then when he decides to go down in his downswing, he like when he unleashes
Get
it,
stuck.
it will he won't get stuck. He will overdo it, and then he'll hit just balloon hooks, just because of how much
Mm.
he can actually rotate. So they limit his rotation so he can get more power and more speed into the ball, because he's not having to unravel a lot quicker the more he rotates.
Yeah.
So
All right, you got
yes.
one?
Um, where is it? I had it saved. Um, gotta find this.
I got another one that's I think we will both agree on again. Walking is much more enjoyable than riding.
Okay, I'm on the fence about walking. Okay,
Okay, let's hear it.
so it depends on the situation. So like, if I'm recording a YouTube video or something like that, I'm gonna ride it all the time, because usually if I'm recording a YouTube video, I'm playing with someone and they're in the video with me. So we're gonna be going to each ball and we're going to be recording. So in that instance, when we're walking, if we hit the balls on opposite sides of the fairway, one of us is not getting something recorded, because it's
Yeah,
either I have the camera on you and there's no one to put the camera on me, or there's no one to put the camera on you, or like vice versa or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, so in that instance, riding is definitely better than walking. Okay. If you're going out and if it's just like a casual, like, hey, I'm going to go play a few holes after I'm done practicing, riding is definitely better for that, because you can hit multiple shots from the same spot, whatever, drive up to the green, pick up your balls, move on. But if you're playing seriously in a tournament, yes, walking is so much better than riding, because you get more time to relax, you get more time to think through your shots, you get more time to forget the mistakes, stuff like that, that ends up kind of making it better. Like when I walk, I play better golf than when I ride.
Hmm.
But
Agreed.
like I said, there's instance where I find riding is much better, and most of it comes around like social media or being with someone who does not want to walk.
Hmm. I always prefer to walk myself. Uh, I I for like two, maybe three main reasons. The first is just nice to be out in nature and just kind of walk. Sometimes the noise of the golf cart, like it's being loud, and just walking, I find can be more relaxing personally. Two, I like you get more conversation when you're walking. I feel if you're out with friends and stuff, when you're all walking up the fairway, it takes longer to get to the balls. B, the whole group's not split up into groups of two. And C, I find a lot of times when you get back to the cart, when you're um, riding, you usually have your phone in the cup holder, your phone right in front of you. You just get back in the cart, you go on your phone, check social media until you get to your ball. I feel like walking, you're more in tune with each other. You're more in tune with the game. You get time to think about your shot. More time to talk. It's quieter, more relaxed. I feel like it's always, especially when I started using a push cart. I joined Pushcart Mafia about halfway last season, and I've never looked back. It was one of the best decisions I made just to get over having a push cart. It was great. I just find it made every round more enjoyable.
Yeah, my push cart is broken.
Oh, that sucks.
So the wheel is like barely on the one side because the brake is like stuck on. So like I can't
Yeah,
undo the brake. So it's just like the wheel is just barely on enough so it will roll and not hit the brake.
yeah, yeah. That sucks.
Uh,
Yeah, that. I'll go for some more.
This one is weird. This one I see, it says PGA Tour Pro should not be allowed caddies. All the little things that the caddy does for the top player is a part of the test. A push cart and a rangefinder, and let's go.
Hmm. I I'm left speechless by that one.
So caddies do more than just give a yardage and carry the bag.
Yeah, yeah. They're like a mental like they help with the mental side of the game. They obviously there's a lot of like the other aspects of the shot. They know their golfer's shot inside and out. They help with the wind and lies and all that stuff. There's a million things that caddies do that the average golf fan just wouldn't know. But I feel like it would be more of a challenge, more of an like who's the better golfer to have someone go out there and just have a push cart and a rangefinder.
I guess, like, a lot of the times, caddies and players, the player has his shot that he wants to hit, and the caddy has the shot that he thinks he should hit. And a lot of times, obviously, the caddy's overruled because if the player's not confident in the shot that the caddy is saying, then he's not going to hit the shot well. There's also a lot of times where they work together on deciding like the yardage and stuff like that, whereas the caddy is in charge of like to the pin and with like the calculations with the wind and stuff like that, whereas the player has like gets the numbers from like the ball to the front of the green and then they calculate it together and then they come up with the yardage that way. um, like if you look at JT with Bones is reading putts more now for him and stuff like that to kind of because JT's kind of wanting to get to that next level where he wins more than just the PGA Championship.
Yeah.
So I say yes if we talk about just golf related. caddies not being there, I don't think it makes much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Even if there is rangefinders, again, between a player and a caddy not being like a player without a caddy and a player with a caddy, there's not much difference on like how the shot's going to happen. It's just that added of the mental support coach, the second opinion, because that second opinion goes from you chunking a wedge to being confident in hitting that wedge.
Yep.
So I mean, I I don't know. I don't like
It's tough.
that.
That's tough. That's a tough question. I like it the way that it is right now.
Yes, I would say, even if they were allowed to have rangefinders, I would still say that caddy should be there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I've got a good one here. This is a short one. Anyone who calls an albatross a double eagle should go right to jail. I agree.
It depends. It
I agree.
depends.
It's not a double eagle.
It depends. Okay, depends.
An eagle is 2 under. So double 2 under would be 4 under.
Yes, but
So that's not.
you don't call a triple bogey like what? That
Something
would be like
else. Yeah.
that would be like a 6. The reason why I say it depends on double eagle, it depends on who's saying it. Because if it's an announcer on the PGA Tour, then I guess, okay, you were forgiven because your job is to talk about the PGA Tour. If
Yeah.
you're someone who's talking about what happened and say, oh yeah, he made a double eagle, well, if you're looking on
I still
social
think even
media,
the
it
PGA Tour
says
now goes straight to
albatross.
jail. I think the PGA announcer goes straight to jail, no matter how respected they are. If they say double eagle, gone,
What if your girlfriend said double eagle?
gone, straight to
Gone.
jail,
Straight to jail.
out of there. Let's see what else we got there. Got here. Retired people should only play on weekdays. I 100% agree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you got all the time in the world to golf. You just golf when not when I need to go.
Um, I'm reading some of these things like this person says the Masters is far is by far the easiest of the 4 majors to win. Given the fact that it's a watered down field, so smaller field.
hmm
Players playing a familiar venue because it's played every single year. One,
I'd almost agree with that.
but he's also saying that he would personally rather win the U.S. Open
No,
than the
that's not true.
Masters.
I agree with half of what he said.
So Augusta, I would say the course might be the easiest ones that they play on for the majors, but the greens are definitely the hardest.
Yeah,
Like, just
but I still think even the greens being as hard as they are, they still know them.
but it changes every year because they've been doing work every single year on the course, and it's been changing. And like the pins on Sunday are the same every single year, but like again,
But they don't change the whole green complexes, do they?
no, they don't.
So you still know the breaks, and you still know the like you get to know the greens.
Yes, but I would say how many times do you think the PGA Tour players who are playing in the Masters play Augusta before the tournament?
I mean, outside the practice week tournaments,
Okay,
practice rounds.
how many? So if we say this is Akshay Bhatia's first Masters, how many times do you think he's played Augusta before Thursday?
Before Thursday, probably played it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday he wouldn't. Wednesday's the par 3 day.
Oh yeah, sure. So probably played it Monday, Tuesday. That's twice.
But Monday they're only allowed on the course for half the day because they still have members' tee times on Monday.
You still get to play, some of the greens.
Yeah, so you play the afternoons. You play like 9 holes Monday. You probably play
Mm.
9 holes Tuesday, and then you play the tournament.
Yeah.
Barring or like so, realistically, you play Augusta once roughly, unless you get in on the Saturday before or the Sunday before. You play Augusta once before the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you have an in like Tiger Woods, you can go and play it like twice or 3 times before the tournament's like even week happens.
Yeah.
Like I think Rory said he played it like 6 times before the tournament. But that's also Rory. That's not Tony Finau.
But again, like the more you play it, the more you've gotten to know it,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like it might be very hard for a first time or even second time player to win there, but once you get that experience and you get potentially 8, absolute minimum of 4 rounds or 6 rounds under your belt, you're going to start to know the greens and you're going to have them pretty down pat. And you'll be able to talk to other people that know the greens that have played them for 23 years in a row, and you're gonna like. I feel like with all the knowledge and experience of the tournament there is out there, it might be the easiest to win. It's the most prestigious to win, but it might be the easiest.
So, would you say the easiest U.S. Open venue to win at is Pebble Beach then?
Probably.
Because they have the Pro-Am at the beginning of the year.
As a pro, and they play that all the time. They can play that whenever they want.
Yeah. Majority
I'd
of
what?
Majority of the U.S. Open courses they could play whenever they want.
So I'd say, but it also changes all the time.
Yes. It's kind of on a cycle, like, because they know they're going to be back at Pebble Beach. They know they're going to be at Pinehurst, and then you'll have, like, the ones here and there where they're different, like Country Club at Brookline and stuff like that, where they kind of switch it up over and over again, and they're kind of on, like, a rotation where there's whatnot. But, again, I still think just the greens itself makes Augusta the hardest, because even if the greens are soft, they roll different than when they're firm, and you hit one bad shot on any one of the holes and you're on the wrong side of that hole, you're making double, triple because of the fact that you don't have an opportunity. Whereas if you're at Pebble Beach, the only time where you really don't have an opportunity to get up and down on any of the greens is if you're in the ocean.
Yeah. I see that. I can see that aspect of it.
Yeah, so like I would say even though Augusta, they play the same courses all the time, I don't think it's the easiest out of the majors to win, because obviously you can go to St. Andrews. The greens are a lot slower over in the UK versus here. A lot of times they're burnt out and you can hit a 1 iron or a 2 iron like 350 yards just because of how hard it is. So I would say on a pure, like, as long as you keep it in the fairway, the easiest would be like an Open on a burnt out golf course.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. I think that was a good one to end it on. That was a good discussion.
Yeah, it was a great discussion about Augusta, and like I will tell you that the Masters is not my favorite tournament when like I said, the U.S. Open's at Pebble Beach or the Open's at St. Andrews, but I gotta defend them when it comes down time to ruin the prestige.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's not the easiest to win, but I think it has the most opportunities to do well at. I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you also can argue that you have less opportunities because it's only the top 50 players in the world.
That's true.
Whereas, like for the U.S. Open, the top 70 get in, and then
Yeah.
qualifiers, and I think it's what
Yeah.
160 players in the field. So like, as much as it's easier for the people who are there every single year, it's also harder for everyone else who's trying to get there.
Yeah. Very true.
So just again, final recap. For our picks this year, you're at 54 under par. I am at 37 under par. By the end of this weekend, we're going to be tied at 57.
Oh, big prediction.
We're going to be
57.
tied at 57 under par. That's what I'm going with.
You think that I'm gonna go all my guys are gonna only go 3 under this weekend?
Yep. And I'm
Oh
going to
wow, that's
go 20
have a
20 under
nuts
par.
weekend.
My team's going to go 20 under par, and you're going to go 3 under par.
I'm gonna say it's gonna end at 71-56.
Nah.
That's my guess. 71-56 is my lead. You're gonna close the gap a little bit, but that's yeah.
I still I wanted to make it like us tied, but I wanted to make it reasonable. I couldn't say we're going to be tied at like 60 something because
You'd have to shoot
it would
crazy.
be a stretch to say anything over 20 under for 3 people.
Yeah,
Um,
it would be nice to be tied and start at 0 again.
yeah, it would be because I definitely need the help.
Yeah,
Or maybe I pick the winner and then
that's true. You could get a big bonus there.
yeah, because we got Rom.
You did get a heavy hitter.
I did because I won last week, so I got to pick the
Yeah.
winner of this week.
You have to pick first.
So, anything else for this week?
I think I'm good. I'm all talked out.
Yeah, me too. I'm running out of things to say here. So,
Yeah, me too.
thank you guys for watching and listening to the podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on social media.
We have Twitter now. I made a Twitter.
Oh, you made a Twitter? I haven't.
I did make a Twitter. I haven't done anything on it yet because I'm just waiting for the right time. But it is the @ is hack HACK the letter N scratch. And,
I couldn't tell you when I was last on Twitter because I'm not on Twitter that often. So
yeah, so I'll be tweeting on that and retweeting. I'll be getting into it in the comments of other tweets with people, mainly just to I like being a shit disturber. So yeah, if you want to hear my thoughts about golf, it's on our Hack and Scratch Twitter there.
yes, and then I need to figure out what post and how we're gonna do post for Instagram and TikTok, but I think I have.
We had that one. We had one really good reel. That was really funny.
Yeah, we got one. We got one good one.
Really
but
good.
I think I have a few ideas for it. So, thank you guys for watching. Click like and subscribe, and see you around.
See you guys.